San Pablo, Laguna. San Pablo, officially the City of San Pablo Tagalog, Lungsod ng San Pablo, is a first-class component city in the province of Laguna, Philippines. According to the 2015 census, it has a population of 266,068 people. Located in the southern portion of Laguna Province, it is one of the oldest cities in the Philippines. By land area, it is the largest in the province of Laguna. Its population ranks sixth within the province after the cities of Calamba, Santa Rosa, Biñan, San Pedro, and Cabuyao. The city is more popularly known as the City of Seven Lakes Tagalog, Lungsod ng Pitong Lawa, referring to the seven lakes of San Pablo, Lake Sampaloc or Sampalok, Lake Palakpakin, Lake Bunot, Lakes Pandin and Yambo, Lake Muhikap, and Lake Calibato. San Pablo was part of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Lipa since 1910. On November 28, 1967, it became an independent diocese and became the Roman Catholic Diocese of San Pablo. History. San Pablo's earliest historical record dates back to pre-Spanish times when four large barrios bounded by Mount Makiling composed Sampaloc. In 1571, the first Spanish troops under Captain Juan de Salcedo arrived in the upland village of Sampaloc. In 1756, it was placed under the jurisdiction of Batangas Province, but was returned in 1883 to Laguna. In 1899, a municipal government was established, with Ati Innocent Martinez as municipal president. Marcos Paulino was elected municipal president in 1902 when the civil government was set up. From 1926 to 1940, the people of San Pablo worked for its independence from the province of Laguna. On May 7, 1940, the charter bill sponsored by Assemblyman Tomas D. Dizon was approved by President Manuel L. Quezon. The bill became known as the City Charter of San Pablo or Commonwealth Act No. 520 approved by President Manuel L. Quezon. The city was inaugurated on March 30, 1941, with Dr. Potenciano Malvar, a former governor of Laguna, as the city mayor appointed by President Manuel L. Quezon. Succeeding him 1941, as an appointed mayor was Dr. Manuel Quisuming, term followed by Tomas D. Dizon in 1943. The succeeding mayors were elected after 1955. Historical milestones. 1571 arrival of Spanish troops under Juan de Salcedo in the village of Sampaloc. 1586 Sampaloc was converted into a parish. 1647 Sampaloc was converted to a municipality and renamed San Pablo de los Montes. Bartolome Maghayan, the first gobernador Silo. 1734 San Pablo parish was under the control of the Franciscans. 1756 placed under the jurisdiction of Batangas Province. 1883 returned to Laguna Province. 1902 Innocence Martinez, first appointed municipal president, and Don Marcos Paulino was elected first municipal president under American period. 1940 approval of Commonwealth Act 520 or Charter of the City of San Pablo with Dr. Potenciano Malvar as first appointed city mayor. 1955 installed its first elected city mayor Cipriano B. Callego. Middle of 20th century marked the beginning era of the municipality to a first-class city in Laguna characterized by many commercial developments and nature developments of numerous areas. Its conversion to resorts and recreation places, both for local and international tourism. Geography. San Pablo has a cool climate owing to its location. It is nestled in the foothills of three mountains, Mount Banahaw, Mount Makiling, and the Sierra Madre Mountains. These mountains do not only provide attractions for the tourism industry such as waterfalls and sources of many forest-based products, but also serve as stewards for the clean air. It is situated 82 kilometers 51 miles southeast of Manila via Alaminos, Laguna 35 kilometers 22 miles southwest of Santa Cruz, Laguna via Calamba, Laguna and 50 kilometers 31 miles northwest of Lucena City, Quezon. Its soil is suitable for those seeking opportunities in agriculture and horticulture given its richness and fertility. The different barangays have coconut plantation, land zones fruit Lancium parasiticum tree plantation and rambutan fruit tree plantation rambutan. The place is rich in orchid plants. Climate. The prevailing climatic conditions in the municipality is categorized into wet and dry seasons. Barangays. San Pablo City is politically subdivided into 80 barangays. Demographics. According to the 2010 census, it had a population of 248,890 people, up from 237,259 people and 44,166 households in the 2007 census. Recently, owing its proximity in Metro Manila, it was overtaken by Calamba, the 1990 census. San Pedro followed suit in 1995, then comes Santa Rosa and Biñan in 2007, and Cabuyao in 2015. Ethnicity and language. The language spoken in the city and the medium of instruction in schools are English and Filipino, also known as Tagalog in this area. Economy. Tourism and recreation. The 7 lakes of San Pablo, 7 crater lakes scattered around the city, have for many generations provided food and livelihood, leisure and respite for the citizens of the city. A bustling city of trade and commerce, it is also a center of education and learning with schools, colleges, and training institutions. Lake Sampalok, located behind the City Hall, is the youngest crater lake in the San Pablo volcanic field and the largest of the city's 7 lakes of San Pablo. Lake Bunot Coconut Husk Lake. Lake Calibato. Twin Lakes Pandin and Yambo. Lake Palakpakin. Lake Muhikap Hacienda Escudero Plantation Resort Town is the largest planned community investment in the city covering 415 hectares. The resort has the richness of coconut plantation and provides serenading Filipino songs, bayanihan dances, folk dances. Public playground and Sampalok Lake Katuparan Ng Pangarep. Fulfillment of Dreams is a public playground in the city built during the term of Mayor Atti Zacharias Africa Tixon, who has well improved tourism places around Lake Sampaloc, that is near the municipal city hall. Both places serve as haven for sports and recreation. The vicinity for tourism consequently encouraged small businesses for restaurants of native dishes catering visitors of the area. It has dramatically contributed income for the city. The Comicero Comics Museum, a brick-and-mortar museum meant to showcase the Philippines' rich history of graphic novels and comic books, and the talent of eminent artists in the field, features original art from Philippine comic book industry leaders including Alfredo Alcala, Francisco Cocking, Alex Nino, Steve Gan, Nestor Redondo, Tony Velasquez, Hal Santiago, and Jerry Alanguilan. Alanguilan himself curated the museum until his death in 2019. Business, commerce, and industry. At the end of the 20th century and the start of the 21st century, economic development shifted from San Pablo to the western Laguna. San Pedro, Biñan, Santa Rosa, Cabuyao, Calamba, Los Banos, and Santa Cruz experienced rapid economic development brought about by local and foreign investments, the rapid growth of industrial estates and export processing zones, and the placement of major institutions in those areas, San Pablo City was left behind and remained a semi-developed residential community. Despite the fact that the city was partly touched by economic development, San Pablo City boasts itself as a potential eco-tourism destination in the province. However, given its human and land resources, various BPO companies are seriously looking at developing the city into the ICT hub of southern Luzon. Although there were previous attempts to build a similar establishment, SM Prime Holdings was given its go signal in July 2008 to push ahead for SM City San Pablo, located at Riverina Commercial Estates along Maharlika Highway at BRGY San Rafael. Apart from this, the development of the Hacienda Escudero Plantation Resort Town and nearby real estates, which is a joint venture with Landco. As such, Hacienda Escudero will become the ultimate history town-themed community in this part of the country. In April 2017, Sanara San Pablo, another real estate development, was started by Ovialand Incorporated. The project is a 4 hectares in total area, situated in Barangay San Antonio Roman II, San Pablo City along Maharlika Highway. ABS-CBN San Pablo Channel 46 is serving the city through its office along Rizal Avenue, at the heart of the city. San Pablo City is home to showrooms, marketing, and parts/servicing centers of Honda Cars Laguna, Ford San Pablo, Isuzu San Pablo, Hyundai San Pablo, Mitsubishi SFM San Pablo, Nissan Southwoods San Pablo, and Toyota San Pablo. San Pablo also claims the title City of Buko Pai, which is a disputed title, as other neighboring towns are also known for producing the delicacy. Colette's Buko Pie, based in San Pablo, was known for experimenting with different variants of the delicacy, though the first Buko Pie store is in Los Banos, the original Buko Pie store. Buko Pie is acknowledged to have originated from Los Banos University of the Philippines, Los Banos, as an invention of a food technologist from UPLB University of the Philippines, Los Banos campus. Thus, the more popular term, Los Banos Buko Pie. The supply of coconut in San Pablo, though, makes it an ideal spot for putting up Buko Pie shops. Franklin Baker Company, one of the well-known companies with operations in San Pablo City, has announced that its plant in San Pablo City will cease its operations and transfer to another existing facility owned by the said company in Davao del Sur by December 2008. The said decision could affect the jobs of at least 1,200 people, the majority of them San Pablonos. Various factors are blamed for this closure, including the conversion of big coconut farms into residential areas. However, production was restored in the first quarter of 2009 in the San Pablo plant of Franklin Baker Company due to processing problems encountered at Davao del Sur. Local government. City officials 2019-2022. Mayor Lorito S. Amante, Nacionalista Party. Vice Mayor Justin G. Callego, Nacionalista Party. City Councilors: Angelita E. Yang, Nacionalista Party. Carla Monica Adajar Lajara, Nacionalista Party. Carmela A. Acevedo, Nacionalista Party. Diosdado A. Bigot, Nacionalista Party. Martin Angelo B. Adriano, Jr. Lacus CMD. Floridal G. De la Cruz, Nacionalista Party. Elsie Pavico, Nacionalista Party. Buhay D. Espiritu Independent. Napoleon C. Calatrava, Nacionalista Party. Dandy C. Medina, Nacionalista Party. List of former municipal executives. Elected. Infrastructure. Healthcare. Most of the large hospitals in San Pablo are located in the city proper, but it is still a little fortunate that there are health centers built for each barangay in San Pablo. Notable hospitals and medical centers are shown below. San Pablo College's Medical Center Barangay San Rafael. San Pablo City Doctors Hospital A. Mabini Street. Laguna Provincial Hospital San Pablo General. Luna Saint. Transportation. San Pablo City is along the Maharlika Highway which leads to Quezon Province. Jeepneys connect San Pablo City proper with nearby Calon, Rizal, and Dolores, as well as other cities like Tanon, Santo Tomas, and Calamba. Philippine National Railways has a station for its southern main line near the city proper. Utilities. San Pablo's water source is run by its own San Pablo City Water District and is assisted by NAWASA. Just like every other place in southern Tagalog, telecommunications. San Pablo's reliance on Internet are PLDT and Globe. These are what most of the Internet users in San Pablo use, so some still use different Internet company to use or rely at. Texting stations are often found everywhere in San Pablo, retail stores, stands, and residential houses. Culture. Town festivities and events. Coconut Festival. San Pablo City hosts the Coconut Festival every year for a week in January, culminating on January 15. The city also holds street dancing competitions on the said week. San Pablo City is known for it, and boasting of having 7 lakes, namely Bunot, Pandin, Palakpakin, Yambo, Muhikap, Calibato, and Sampalok. In addition to these natural wonders, San Pablo also takes pride in conducting 5 different festivals depicting the life, culture, and heritage of its people. Coconut is one of the main products of the city. To make the most of the tree of life, and to show the world the talents and ingenuity of the local townsfolk, the Coconut Festival came into existence. Started on January 1996, the Coco Fest is held during the celebration of the city's patron saint. The week-long celebration features the beer plaza, closing the city's main thoroughfare from vehicles, and having along it food stalls and miniature restaurants with rock bands performing on makeshift stages on different street corners. Cultural presentations featuring different schools, organizations, and barangays are scheduled every night and is dubbed as cultural extravaganza. One of the most awaited events during this celebration is the coronation ball of the Mutia ng San Pablo, a dinner, dance, and fashion show featuring the candidates in gowns and turno creations by local couturiers. A food fair and exhibit are also a part of the festivities, where the water treasures of San Pablo are cooked in coconut milk. The highlight of the celebration is the street dancing or Mardi Gras, where different schools compete in the beat of themed music, and the participants donned in costumes decorated with materials from coconut. This also includes the parade of floats decorated with coconut materials as well. The parade passes along the main thoroughfare wherein houses and establishments are adorned and decorated with coconuts. The festival is ended with the display of fireworks on the evening of the 15th, the day of the Fiesta Feast Day. Celebration of traditional Holy Week and during Holy Friday Passion of Christ. Education. Education in the Philippines. Education in the country is patterned from both of educational systems of Spain and the United States of America. However, after the liberation of the Philippines in 1946, Filipinos then had moved in various directions of its own. Elementary and high school education is compulsory and is administered nationally by the Department of Education Philippines, along with the assurance of funding for school services and equipments, recruitment of teachers for all public schools, and the supervising and organization of the education curricula. Based on the current education system of the Philippines, students should enter elementary schools at the age of 6 or 7, and for a duration of 6 years. Then, at the age of 12 or 13, students then enter high schools for a duration of 4 years, with a total of 10 years of compulsory education. All public and private elementary schools, high schools and colleges, and universities in the Philippines start classes from early June to mid-June and end from mid-March to early April. The School Division Department of Education of San Pablo City is divided into 7 school districts, each headed by a district supervisor. The various school districts are Ambre, Daptapan, Del Remedio, Fuel Almeda, Lakeside, San Francisco, Santo Angel. San Pablo City has 13 public high school, 1 private university, and several colleges and private schools. List of schools, colleges, and university. List of colleges. Under the administratorship of former city councilor and educator Pablo Ortega Tixon as the pioneer administrator. College has continuously bred many professionals of the city as a government college and has flourished beautifully, both in academics and campus landscape. It has served as an inspiration for the poor and middle-class folk to have an education. Mayor Vicente B. Amante serves as chairman of the Board of Trustees. Notable people: Cynthia Barker, English politician and former mayor of Hertsmere, England. Alexander Jesmundo, 27th Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Arturo Brion, 161st Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Liza Maza, former Gabriela Partalist and Bayan Muna Partalist representative. Bartolome S. Carril, law professor and dean of the University of the Philippines College of Law. Celso Al. Caranungan, writer, novelist, and film scriptwriter. Jerry Alanguilan, a.k.a. Comicero, comic book artist and writer best known for his graphic novels Wasted and Elmer. Alexander Cortez, theater arts professor at the University of the Philippines and artistic director of Dulong Up. Carlito Ortega, sculptor. Bayani Casimiro, tap dancer. Edgar Calabia Summer, poet and fictionist. Ito Kish, furniture designer. Jay Arcila, actor and Starstruck Avenger in the 5th season of Starstruck. Jiggy Maniked, television news producer/reporter and newscaster. Floor Contemplation, domestic worker. John Adajar, professional athlete. Mixed martial arts fighter. Tukes Erk, global welterweight champion. 2014 Ginu Laguna. Media. Cable TV providers: Community Cable, Vision Corp, Telmark Cable, Celestron, Signal, Dream Satellite. Radio networks: DZSB, DWJY 94, 3 FM 107, 1 FM, Radio NG Bayan. Online media: Balatang Laguna and Gayan, San Pablo City News, San Pablo Public Forum. Print media: Publishing Network, newspaper The Morning Chronicle, Laguna Express, Balatang Perhas, Free Times Journal, Tribune Post, The Wednesday Herald, The Southern Tagalog Herald, Laguna Bulletin, Laguna Courier.